Archaeology has evolved from simply collecting rare artifacts to using scientific methods to solve specific historical problems. Earlier, archaeologists mainly searched for beautiful or unique objects, often ignoring other important evidence. Now, the focus is on understanding the broader context of human life, including how people lived, their environment, and their interactions with each other and nature. New archaeology, also called processual archaeology, uses scientific thinking and methods from other disciplines like chemistry, anthropology, and geography. This approach treats culture as a system, where each part, such as trade, religion, or daily life, works together. Artifacts are seen as part of these systems and are studied to understand the processes behind their creation and use. A key feature of new archaeology is the use of hypotheses. Archaeologists now develop questions or problems before starting their research, and then collect evidence to test their ideas. This scientific approach helps avoid wasting time and ensures that research is meaningful and publishable. Phosphorus analysis. Phosphorus in soil increases where humans have lived or worked. By measuring phosphorus levels, archaeologists can identify ancient living areas and study changes in population and settlement patterns. For example, at Inamgaon, which is an important archaeological site in Maharashtra, India, phosphorus levels inside houses were much higher than outside. This suggests that, around 2000 BCE, people started doing more activities indoors, likely because of climate changes. Such analysis really helps us answer questions about ancient living habits, settlement structures, and even climate. Olaf Arrhenius was a pioneer in using phosphorus analysis to locate ancient human settlements. Nitrogen analysis. Well, nitrogen in soil comes from organic materials like animal dung and bones. High nitrogen levels in certain areas can indicate places where people kept animals. At Inamgaon, very little nitrogen was found inside houses, but much more was found outside in animal enclosures. This shows that, soil chemistry can reveal information about how people use space and managed animals. Daniel Rutherford discovered nitrogen, but its archaeological use was developed by O. Arrhenius, and later by researchers like S. F. Cook and R. F. Heiser. Ethnoarchaeology is the study of living societies to understand how people in the past might have lived. Archaeologists observe how modern communities make and use tools, build houses, and organize their lives, then compare these findings to ancient remains. This method, helps interpret material evidence more accurately. For example, archaeologist Louis Binford worked with the Nunavut people in Alaska to understand how their butchering practices left marks on bones. He then used this knowledge to interpret similar patterns in ancient sites. Ethnoarchaeology shows that anthropology, which is basically the study of humans, is essential for understanding history, as stated by scholars like Gordon Willey and Frederick Maitland. Computational archaeology uses computers to analyze large amounts of archaeological data. This method allows researchers to process information more efficiently and, find patterns that might not be visible otherwise. David Clarke was really a pioneer in this field, introducing the term in his book Analytic Archaeology way back in 1968. These days, computers actually help with mapping sites, analyzing artifact distribution, and even reconstructing ancient landscapes. Site catchment analysis is all about studying the area around an archaeological site to understand how people use natural resources. It looks at how far people traveled for farming, gathering, or hunting, and why they chose specific locations to live. So this method was first used by Claudio Vita Finzi and Eric Higgs back in the 1970s to study prehistoric economies in Israel and Palestine. They discovered that people usually traveled up to 10 kilometers for hunting and 5 kilometers for farming, depending on the landscape, In India, this method was applied at sites like Inamgaon and Daimabad, where researchers found that people farmed within 2.5 kilometers and gathered other resources within 5 kilometers of their homes. So, settlement pattern studies examine how ancient villages, towns, and cities were organized and connected. This kind of research really helps explain how people interacted, traded, and depended on each other. Gordon Willey was actually a key figure in this area, especially with his work in Peru. He showed that large settlements often relied on smaller surrounding villages for food and resources, kind of like how modern cities depend on rural areas today. In Maharashtra, India, researchers found 4 types of settlements: large sites, like capitals; medium sites, which were small towns; small sites, meaning villages; and very small sites, which were specialized worker groups. For example, Inamgaon was located near the Bhima River, and its surrounding villages supplied it with necessary goods. These days, archaeology is, well, highly interdisciplinary. It actually involves experts from anthropology, geology, chemistry, and even computer science. This kind of collaboration gives us a much fuller picture of ancient life, since we're able to combine data from artifacts, soil, animal remains, and a lot more. The focus now is on solving specific historical problems, not just, collecting artifacts. We use scientific methods and hypotheses, which really makes the research more reliable. Plus, we consider the entire environment and social system, not just the individual finds. These new methods encourage teamwork among experts from different fields. And importantly, findings get published for the wider community, which helps advance knowledge for everyone. The new scientific approaches in archaeology have, honestly, greatly expanded our understanding of ancient societies. By using chemical analysis, computer technology, and interdisciplinary teamwork, archaeologists can now reconstruct not just what people made, but also how they lived, interacted, and adapted to their environment. Sites like Inamgaon really show how these methods reveal details about daily life, resource use, and social organization, details that would be impossible to know from artifacts alone. This shift from just collecting artifacts to actually solving problems and explaining the past marks a major advance in the study of the human past.